job. AYGO's got a problem. Gear change from first to second is really stiff. It started when you were changing down the gears, second into first, it just wasn't spinning the box up and just wouldn't go into first from second. That's been happening for a little while, but it's been getting slowly worse, and now, like I say, first to second completely gone as well. Even with the engine off, it just doesn't want to go first, second, it's just jamming. So it goes third, fourth, fifth, first, don't want to go in, second, don't want to go in. So, time for a new gearbox. Managed to pick one up. Let's whip this one out, stick a new one in. So we've got to clear a bit of room out here. Battery's got to come out, battery carrier, and we'll whip some of the bolts out the top. We'll start by just disconnecting the battery, whip them terminals off, two 10mm nuts. Then we're going to disconnect the battery retaining carrier, a little 12mm nut at the front. Whip the bracket out, battery's away. Screwdriver, push the tab back there. 10mm bolt under here. Through that hole there. Put this gear selector cables out. So I'm just pulling the retaining clip off the cable and pulling the cable away, and then doing the same with the other one to remove both the selector cables. Bingo. Now we're going to remove the two 12mm bolts holding the gear selector cables on their bracket. So I've taken one out from there, and the second one is down below on the bottom there. And that one was cross-threaded, look. Okay, and that now is the gear selector, nice and loose. Oh, first wound of the job. It's bashed into my finger, look. And it's a bit of a gusher. What I'm going to do is, it's just starting to slow down a bit. I'm going to super glue the top of my finger. Jolly good. It's off of there. Now we've got the clutch cable that's just attached. It's all on the same bracket, and now we've got some plate in it, which should be able to just pop that off like that. And that's the clutch cable away as well. I still think I might just pop a cable tie around that. So it's a 12mm bolt holding the bracket, and then just pop the connector. Then down the front we've got the earth strap and its little retaining clamp, so just whip them off. Right, I can crack these bell housing bolts off on the top. And then the 14mm starter motor top bolt. And then we've got two more 17mm bell housing bolts. One at the front at the top, and then two down the front, near the front of the car. Now I can just remove the gearbox mounting bolts, leaving just one to hold in place while I take the rest of the bell housing bolts out from underneath. Here, let's jack this AYGO up. Pump up that AYGO. Up she goes. So let's relieve it of its gearbox oil. Got the bung there. quite clean, the oil. It's not too dirty, so it's obviously been changed at some point. Get that a wipe it up, that dripping on my head. Okay, next step. I feel I want to get this oxygen sensor out of the way because I'm going to catch that when I'm getting this gearbox out. I got a feeling, so I'm going to whip that out just to make sure I don't bash it. We'll get this bottom mounting off, and we'll pop the legs off the board.
Pop a couple of axle stands under to hold the body, and then we'll get this oxygen sensor out the exhaust.
Jiggle and move things about. So I'm quite hopeful we'll be able to get this out on the pit without too many problems. Let's give it a go. Pop that little connector there. There we go. That's that out of the way. That's that out of the way. We don't want to break that. Oh, that's better. Look at that room now. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Let's get this bottom mounting off then. One tight bolt.
So we'll just remove this side bolt in that bottom mounting as well.
Wow! It's got a thread on it. Blimey, that's an amazement. I can get these 14 mils out of the way now. Right, so that looks pretty cool. That should come out now. All them gubbins. That's one less bit off, isn't it? Swinging up there now. Well, I need to figure a way of supporting this engine when I drop this gearbox mounting off. So I'm going to need something here to support it. Right, let's get these bottom arms off. Pull the circular part. These are with the castle nut, which is 19mm. Alright, let's see how tight this sucker is. Let's get a big bertha in there. It's tight. There she goes. A little bit of persuasion. Hate these reverse arms, they're a pain.
Ah, nearly smashed my phone. Need a bigger hammer.
It's out. Drill. Circle about. Not off. She goes. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah. Right. Let's get that jack back under there. Arm down. Put that without resting on that. Oh, there we go. Let off the body work. That works better, doesn't it? And she's out. Right, let's get that down. Bar, I'm going to just pop them drive shafts out. Good luck. There we go. Out she comes. Oh. Push that whole bottom arm out of the way and slip that out. I'm going to turn the steering full lock so it gives me a lot more leverage. Better. Now So much more to go with. Oh, there we go. And if I push that out there, slip that out of there. And this one I should get this right out of the way. Yeah, there we go. It being a short one. Really get that down here and out of the way. Okay, let's whip these bolts out from around the bell housing. You can see I've just wedged a hammer in between the bottom arm and the hub there just to push that drive shaft out and get it out of my way. And down with that little plate. Looking good. Right, so what was that? That's one of the last bell housing bolts on the front. So that's all three out that side. All we've got left now is a starter motor at the back and a bolt at the back. And then obviously the mounting, and we've got to just support this engine so that we don't lose it. We don't want it to drop too far down, land on my head. So I've got an old weight bar, but a bit of wood would have done it, and I'm hoping now if I can get that close enough to the sump, like that. Or if I get a jack on the other end of that and hoof it up, and it'll just support this engine when I drop it. Wood on there. Okay, bars in, supporting that. That shouldn't go too far. Now when I drop the top mounting off the gearbox and bring it down. Okay, so all we've got left now is we've got the bottom starter motor bolt, 14mm, and we've got this one at the back, which is a 17mm bell housing bolt. So I've just whipped that out. Out of there. There it is. Now we've got that 14mm starter motor nut. There it is, right up there. Okay, so let's put a ratchet head on the bar, and hopefully that's now going to give us a bit more freedom up there. Whoa, man, that's another tight one. Jesus, blimey. We've got some tight bolts on this. Oh, you little skunk boy. Up there. Yeah, here we go. This is the one. Oh, that was only a 14mm nut. Somebody bashed that on there. Whew. Oh, let's try again. Oh my word. Whew. That was a little skunk weed, that was. Well, I can see now the box has decided it's separating from the engine, so we're definitely just hanging now. She's hanging in there. Right, so we're almost ready to lower onto the bar, take that top mounting bolt off, and see how she hangs. Yeah, it wants to come out now. It wants to come out now. View from the other side. Got the jack with the bar resting on the bottom of the engine, because I just can't put a jack down a pit there. It's just not good. It's going to be in the way. It's not going to be safe. So I think this looks a lot more secure. And we're now going to just finalise removing the last mounting bolt here on the gearbox, and let's see how far she drops. Oh, let's see how we get on. Yeah, a big clatter and a bang. Oh, there she goes. Wow, that wasn't bad, was it? That wasn't bad. Right, let's see what we can do then. Let's have a laugh. There we have it, gearbox is out. Yeah! So we're left with a clutch plate. If you wanted to take this off, we just whip these 12mm bolts from around the outside and take the plate off. We're not going that far on this one though, we're just going to pop the new gearbox in and jobs are good and fantastic. Okay, so we've got the new gearbox and very nice it is too, all nice and clean. So, and also the bearing is beautiful, which is one thing that we were a bit worried about. So I've greased the splice, just put a little smear of grease on there and just checked it over, everything's as it should be. Let's stick it in. So the clutch hasn't got a problem with it, but I can still see it without taking the plate off. I can see if it's worn or not. Let me show you. So here we have the clutch plate. Now if I was replacing it, I would take off these 12mm bolts around the outside, take the plate off, stick a new one on, but we've got to put the centralisation. You put a pin down the middle or something to make sure that that is exactly in the centre, otherwise you'll never get the gearbox back in. So this one's on there. To check this over, I can see, are these forks worn where the bearing rubs against it? And they're okay, there's not a lot of wear there. Now the actual plate itself is trapped between the two here. You can see, if I look between the gap, I can actually see the clutch plate itself. And I can still see on the inner edge and the outer edge the lines which are marked into the plate itself. And as long as I can see those lines, it's not worn down to the rivets. So it's still got quite a bit of life left in it. So I'm going to leave that alone. Okay, everything's pretty much out of the way. Let's get this new box in. Not my favourite bit at all, this lifting. Hate lifting heavy things, but hey ho, there's life in it. Okay. Not good start. Oh. Oh, did it come out? Right, back ending first maybe. I should have took that out, boys, you know. That would have helped. It would help if that went there. The radiator pipes. Give them away a little bit. Let's go again. Holy shit. Oh my God. Holy macaroni. I'm knackered now, that was heavy. But it's in. Good God. Oh, what am I doing to myself? Getting too old for this lot. Let's find a bolt. Oh no, bash my head. Wound. Super glue again. I'll get the bolt in the back of the bell housing. And we've got one front, one back. Right, so let's get this mounting all sort of roughly back where it should be. Yes, here we go. She's back in. Oh, okay, so now the engine's bolted up, I can get rid of my makeshift engine stay. Give us some more room under here. Oh, that's better. Hey, room again, right. Oh, that looks loads better now. That's looking really good. That's looking really good, looking a bit more like a car again. I think I'll go for all them bolts up the top there. So the starter motor bolt and the back bolt, we're just going to nip that up. So that's the back bolt there, and the starter motor is up the back there. Oh, it's really hard to show you on this. A lot of this is done through feel rather than actually looking. Right, there you go. That's the back bolt for the gearbox, and then starter motor is up the top. Up there, and there's one bottom bolt in that, and the other one's from the top. So that's them done. Now I can also tighten up this front gearbox mounting properly, because I didn't do that all the way, did I? Let's whack that up properly. There we go. There we go. Let's have a bit of lube on that, because that bolt was tight coming out, if I remember. Right, and now I can get this mounting back in. Yes, have it. Okay, right, and let's get this exhaust oxygen sensor back in. Its own little bracket was on a 12mm. Get that back in there, and that then clips back in there. Brilliant, so that's all connected back up. Drive shaft time. Okay, so I've got to pull the bottom arm down to then swaz that back in again. So I'm going to go onto the recess on the edge of that and just try and knock that in. Let's see how tight it is. Oh, it's gone straight in. Well, that was easy enough, wasn't it? That was easy enough, that was beautiful. Oh, well chuffed for that. Alright, and then this side. Somewhat persuasion. Bingo. Beautiful. Shafts are in. Just got to get these horrible bottom joints in. So we're going to have to jack the hub up again, pull the arm down and try and negotiate them into the bottom arms, into the ball joints. Let's give it a go. Oh, hallelujah. Oh. God, these things are awkward. Stupid cars. So, and put the little split pin back in. There she is, that's one done. One down, one to go. Bingo. Right, let's have a look up here, see what we've got. We've got to get the other starter motor bolt in, which is that one. And I've got some more bell housing bolts to go in. So now we've got the, which is really hard to see again, the gear selector mounting bolts. That's that clutch assembly all in place with the gear selector arms. So now we've just got these arms to go on and a clutch cable to go back in. So the clutch cable is lowest, so let's go with that first. Oh, there she goes. That's in, but that feels quite tight. It doesn't feel like there's any free play in that. And that's all going to be down to that new bearing that was in there. It's a better bearing than the old one. We've got a little bit of free play there now. So I'm hoping that's going to be about right. Let's put that spring back on. You can always adjust it up a bit more if you need to. Feels good. It feels really good. Right, let's get his gear selector cables back in. The bottom one, slip that on. And through, top one. Pin through. Okay, there we go. Gear selectors on. And I've got reverse light cable plug to go back on. There it is. Bell housing bolts in, all the way around. Something nice and tight. Starter motor bolts are in. Clutch is all back in. Gear selectors are on. This earth wire back down again. Battery carrier back in. So let's change the oil in this gearbox, get it all nice and fresh. That's the stuff. So it's driveline 75 80 MV manual transmission fluid. 1.75 litres for the AYGO. Let's go for it, let's get it out. Drain plug. 24mm socket. There might not be a lot in this one, because I say this is, I've just put this gearbox in, so I don't know what's in here, if there's anything or nothing. Oh no, there's oil in it. Oh wow, okay. Not a lot though, not a lot in there, which I wasn't expecting a great deal, because I usually drain these before they ship them. So let's put the plug back in. Okay, so the filler plug on the AYGO is right at the front, and it's this one just here, right on the front. Let's crack that off. So you've got your nut bung washer, so keep them safe. You could put a tube from the top and do it that way. Okay, so I've got the giant sucker and blower.
pour the oil in there and then shove it in there and pump it in. Oh, something's happening. Oh, it's a messy job, it's a messy job. Pour some oil in the tube. Pull it back on again. Oh God, going every bloody way. Get that in there again. And pump this one in. Bingo. That's got it this time. That's up to speed, just where we want it. Great stuff. So the level's now up to the bung. It's starting to run out, so we know we're good. We can put this bung back in, nip it up. Let's get, oh God, that's bright. Oh. Okay, so let's get the wheels back on and let's get the wheels back on. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm just going to have one last look around, make sure we've got no oil leaking out from the drive shaft seals, sump bung and stuff. But yeah, it's driving really nice. There's no whining, the gear selection's beautiful. Super job. Nothing coming out, no leaks. Happy days. So the AYGO, 157,000 miles. That gearbox didn't do too bad. She lives to fight another day. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed it, it's been helpful, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.